Hey everybody, welcome back to Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. Today I'll be reviewing the Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer. Stay tuned. This is actually my second Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer. I had one of the older models, I sold it, I missed it, so here it is again. Here's a picture of the first Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer I had. I ran out of room in my garage gym at my old house, so I put the functional trainer in one of the spare bedrooms, and it actually looked pretty good in the room. About a year later, I moved and I put the functional trainer in a spare bedroom, and it fit nicely in the corner along with the Powertec Smith machine. And then from that spare bedroom, I moved it up into what is now my cardio room. So safe to say I got really good at putting this machine together and taking it apart. I ended up selling this to pay for the Concept 2 ski erg, but after a few months, I don't think that was the best decision I made, and I started to miss the functional trainer. So once again, I found myself searching in the market for a functional trainer. I started on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, but nothing was really there. And then I started looking at some of the less expensive models like this Valor Fitness model, which sells for $650, supposedly has a 1-to-1 cable ratio, but it only has a max weight load of 200 pounds, so I knew this machine wasn't going to be heavy enough for me. Next, I looked at the Titan Fitness plate-loaded functional trainer, which is basically a clone of the Valor Fitness functional trainer. This one sells for $750. It has a weight capacity of 390 pounds, and on Titan's webpage, Titan claims the cable ratio is 1-to-2. Of course, I had to look at the Inspire lineup, starting with the FTX. A lot of people get this at Costco, and I've seen the price as low as $1,300, but other retailers are selling it for around $1,800 or $1,900. It has two 165-pound weight stacks, but no option to add additional plates. And because of the pulley ratio, I didn't think this machine was going to offer enough resistance for me because each side is actually only 82.5 pounds. Inspire also has the FT1 and FT2, but both of those were over $2,000. The FT1 is selling for $2,600, and the FT2 sells for around $4,500. It does have the built-in Smith machine, which is an amazing option. However, I could get a standalone Smith machine and a standalone functional trainer for less than the price of the FT2. I almost decided on the Rep Fitness FT3000. When I added it to the cart, it came to a total of $2,100. It has two 180-pound weight stacks with a ratio of 2-to-1, so each stack is actually 90 pounds. And while the FT3000 was in the shopping cart, I went to YouTube and watched a video of someone using it who wasn't associated with Rep Fitness, and I noticed that there was some wobble when he was doing a pec fly. I do think the FT3000 is a good machine, and most reviews that I've seen are complimentary of the machine, but it did break the $2,000 threshold, and I did notice that wobble when the person was doing the pec fly, so I decided to pass on it. Brand new to the market is the Titan Fitness Nemesis, which sells for $2,000, but this machine has a 4-to-1 pulley ratio, so 200 pounds actually feels like 50 pounds, and I knew this machine wasn't going to offer enough resistance for me. Ultimately, I ended up doubling back to Powertec. I looked at the Functional Trainer Deluxe, but I think it's a little bit big for the space that I wanted to put this machine in, so I decided on the Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer for a second time. Sometimes going with what you know is not the worst thing in the world, so when I decided on the Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer, I contacted Powertec and I told them I wanted to get this machine as well as some additional pieces, and I asked if they could offer me a multi-piece discount, which they did. So after I finish the review for this Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer, there will be a couple of additional reviews relating to Powertec's products in the near future. Here is the Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer with a 190-pound weight stack. It arrived in great condition, like everything that I've ordered from Powertec. This is over a 500-pound pallet. Here's what it looks like outside of the plastic. So we have 2 boxes for the functional trainer and then a couple of smaller boxes for the weight stack. Everything is very securely packaged. Either the pieces are wrapped inside of bubble wrap or at the very least in plastic. And then you have the styrofoam spacers. And here's the inside of the bigger of the 2 boxes. An excellent packing job. Part of this one came assembled, which makes a big difference because if you have watched some of my other videos, I mentioned that the Streamline Functional Trainer was the most difficult piece of equipment I've ever put together, but it looks like Powertec has eliminated a lot of steps by already having the pulley wheels attached inside of the frame, and then like I mentioned, having some of the cables already wired. Here are the 3 hardware packs, and Powertec includes Allen wrenches. The assembly for page 1 is super easy. It's just attaching these legs to the back support. You have some plates on each side just for added stability. Assembly 2 is pretty straightforward. You have 3 uprights and you just attach those to the base. And then once you get this piece situated and connected to this piece, you slide them over the top of the upright. Now I have the top crossbars on and the pull-up bar. I actually started with this piece and then put the side crossbars on and then put the pull-up bar on last. I will tell you to be careful if you get this piece because there is a little indentation right here and right here. So make sure that indentation is facing out, and on the top, it's really easy to accidentally put it on the bottom. But this will save you a lot of time. So just make sure that the larger holes are facing out, the smaller holes are facing in. After the frame is put together, if you get the 190-pound stack, you'll put your guide rods in, but you won't bolt them in the bottom or bolt them in the top. You'll lean the guide rods out and then install 1 plate at a time. Each plate is 10 pounds. Now I have the entire weight stack installed, and just to make this clear, if you get the 190-pound weight stack, you won't use these things. And in order to get the plates down the guide rods, you have to remove these things. I just attached the weight horns to the carriage. I haven't tightened up the bolts to the uprights yet because I want to get those guide rods in place. After I do that, I'll tighten up the nuts and bolts. Make sure that before you put the guide rods in place, that you put these back on. The last step is cable installation. So there are 2 sets of cables. You have the one up here, which was already run. And then you have this one here. So this one is going to attach into this part. I just finished running the cables and I'll go back and show you how I did that. Before I do that, I'm getting ready to put the stickers on each one of the plates. Luckily, these stickers are not like your typical sticker. They're textured, they're thick, so they're pretty durable. I just finished putting all of the stickers on each plate and it's color coded, which is kind of cool. So you've got red for when it's heavy, yellow for when it's medium weight, green for when it's lightweight, and then without any plates being engaged at all, the carriage is 10 pounds. And the pin slides in and out of every plate easily and smoothly. It's always a good feeling to finish a build and not have any hardware left over. The functional trainer came with collars, which really aren't necessary because the weight horns are angled. It came with the chain, which you might use for a bicep curl if you have the pulley on the lowest setting. It came with a curl bar, which is revolving, which is really nice. It came with the functional trainer bar, 2 handles with 2 D-ring settings, and 3 carabiners. Powertec includes touch-up paint with all of their pieces should you need it. The back of the functional trainer has 2 hooks so you can hang your accessories. The welds are consistent and look good throughout. The pull-up bar on the Streamline Functional Trainer is similar to the pull-up bar that was on Powertec's old power racks. The newer power racks have the multi-grip pull-up bar, so I'm actually glad to have Powertec's traditional pull-up bar on the functional trainer. As you can see, there's no knurling or rubber coating on the pull-up bars. I'm really glad that Powertec has stainless steel weight horns on all of their pieces. And I'm going to show you why. Because if you don't have a stainless steel weight horn and you just have a powder coat like we do on the Titan Fitness Pec Fly, you look like a coal miner at the end of your workout. And you get this stuff all over your plates. It just makes a huge mess. You have a plastic bushing inside of the weight carriage, and you also have a plastic bushing inside of the sliding tube. Because of the plastic bushing in the sliding tube and because of the twist knob, you will need to use 2 hands to adjust the sliding tube. And it adjusts pretty smoothly, just not as easily and quickly as you would be able to do on the Rep model or the Inspire model. I would like to see Powertec use a quick release pin instead of a turn knob. And I would also like for Powertec to number the settings, but that's probably something I'll do with a silver Sharpie. Also, I would like to see what Powertec calls the pulley support bracket to have a little greater range of motion. Because of the way it's made with this extension right here, it'll hit a stopping point there. If I really wanted to, I could file this down to get a greater range of motion. For anyone who gets this machine, I want to do you a favor and show you how to assemble the cables. It comes with two. Here's the first one. It starts here. It goes up the outside of the frame, over the top of the frame, down through that pulley, then up through this pulley, inside of the guide rods, through this pulley, and repeat all of that on the other side. The other cable connects into here, and you have these 3 bolts that you tighten, and then the cable goes through this pulley, under the frame, not through the frame, up through this pulley, through this pulley, down, through this lower pulley, back up, and repeat the same thing on the other side. If you don't get the 190-pound plate stack, this will look a little bit different. But if you do, I want to show you what the setup looks like. You'll have to have this correct in order for everything to run smoothly. And this pulley screws into the carriage only for about 4 turns. And then after those 4 turns, you tighten that bolt in place. The number of exercises that you can do on this machine is nearly countless, but I mainly got this machine for bicep curl variations, fly variations, and chest press variations. And while I'll mainly use the machine for the exercises that I just mentioned, I do want to show a bunch of different exercises to show how versatile the functional trainer is. The machine sells for $1,800 with free shipping. It's 85 inches high, 69 inches wide, and 51 inches long. I'm about 5'9" and can do pull-ups pretty easily. There are 17 different cable positions, so you can do your high to low flies and low to high flies and everything in between. The machine has a 2-to-1 ratio. The distance the weight stack travels depends on the number of handles in use. For exercises that use only one handle, the weight stack travels half the distance of the handle. For exercises that use both handles, the weight stack travels the same distance as the handles. I think the machine is pretty heavy duty. It weighs 274 pounds and it has a max weight capacity of 500 pounds. For demonstration purposes, I'm using lighter weights, but when I have used heavier weights on this machine, there is no wobble. All of the exercises that I'm showing now are with the sliding tubes in the top position, and you can also adjust the handles to increase the range of motion for some exercises, such as this kneeling lat pull-in. Being that it's new, the cables are making a weird sound, but that's to be expected. As they start to take shape and the machine gets more use, the cables will start to actually feel more smooth. Finishing off this series of exercises with the tube in the top position, the one-arm bicep curl. Now I'm going to move on to the tubes in the middle position, starting with flies and presses. One of the major benefits of having a functional trainer is that you can adduct when you're doing your pressing movements and fly movements. And the way that I remember this in school, in case you're new to lifting, abduction with a B, you're basically moving your hands and legs away from the center line of your body, but adduction with a D, you're moving your hands towards the center line of your body. Adduction, you're adding to the center line of your body. Moving on to the sliding tubes in the bottom position for a low to high fly, I really like being able to cross the center line of my body as I'm doing this movement for greater pec engagement. The machine also works good for overhead presses as long as you have a chain to extend the handles. Without the chain, the carriage is going to hit the top of the machine. One exercise that I really missed when I got rid of my old functional trainer was this dual action bicep curl. Moving on to a couple of exercises using the functional trainer bar. Like the bicep curl bar that Powertec includes, this bar also revolves, which just makes for a more smooth motion, and it's a little bit easier on the wrists and hands. Because the two pulleys work independently of one another, you can set up the machine to do supersets. So right now I have the sliding tube in the bottom position with a chain attached so I can get a full range of movement for my bicep curl, and then I'm immediately switching over to a tricep push down. in case I wanted to superset buys and tries for the day. I don't plan on using this machine for really any leg movements, but I do want to show you that it is an option. You can do lunges on this machine. You could also do leg extensions, leg curls, abduction, and adduction with the ankle strap that Powertec provides. If you wanted this to be your one and only all-in-one machine, you could do squats on this machine. You do have to start from the bottom position, and I wouldn't recommend going extremely heavy, but if you're going to do lightweight, high reps, this actually feels pretty effective. You could also use this machine for seated calf raises. I have my feet elevated on some 2x4s, and then I have a squat pad on the functional trainer bar just to make the movement a little more comfortable. It is a little bit of a pain to set up and to get into, but you can do glute bridges. You'll just need to elevate your bench. Now for some exercises with the weight bench in place. The functional trainer works great for pec flies and chest presses while being supine on a bench. Two of my favorite movements on the functional trainer are with the bench in the incline position for incline flies and incline presses. You could seamlessly go between these two exercises. So for example, if you wanted to reach muscular failure using the incline fly, you could, and then finish off with the incline chest press. Now with the bench in almost the upright position, you can mirror the free motion chest press with flies, incline presses, flat presses, and decline presses. You can also take one hand high while the other hand goes low, and of course you can cross the center line of your body for greater pec activation. Another great movement using the functional trainer is the chest supported row. It's really nice having each pulley work independently of the other, just so that one side of the body doesn't dominate the movement. And lastly, I have both handles attached to one pulley. I do have a chain attached to each handle just for a greater range of motion. And here I'm going to do a series of exercises that you'll see done on the TRX with your Ys, your Ts, one hand high, one hand low for trap and rear delt development, face pulls for rear delt and trap development. Also, you can do tricep pushdowns with the palm up and tricep pushdowns with the palm down. And then you can do bicep curls with the elbow elevated. Overall, I think this machine is very well built. It feels very sturdy, but I will admit I did have a little trouble with the cable installation. My experience with my old Powertec functional trainer helped with the assembly of this one, but if you choose to get this one, refer to this video because I think you'll find it extremely helpful with installing the cables. I hope in later editions of this machine that Powertec includes a quick release pin so you can more easily slide the pulley tube up and down, and it would be helpful if Powertec numbered the cable settings. I definitely recommend this functional trainer. It's one of the least expensive on the market, but it also has one of the greatest weight capacities at 500 pounds. As always, thank you for watching. If you found anything in this review helpful, please like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Thanks, everyone. Lastly, I am on Instagram under Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. Check out my page. I do add a lot of content that doesn't make it to YouTube. Thanks, everyone.